The disrespect towards Africans, yeah, regarding this World Cup in America is an absolute disgrace. Before the tournament started, way before, there was already some disgraceful decisions, yeah, put out there. Fans from certain countries were told literally you can't come here. They ain't got no criminal records, they have jobs. Some of them have high roles in their jobs, in their countries. But they're being told if you're from this country, it's basically impossible to get a visa to come to the United States of America. Now you have a Somali referee who was voted African Referee of the Year, Omar Artan, who was excited to go to America as one of the chosen referees for the World Cup. There's no bigger event than the World Cup. The guy was excited only to be denied his visa. His country supplied a diplomatic visa to get him there. The guy was refused for no reason. The guy was so classy enough to thank FIFA and CAF and remain in good spirit despite the decision, man. I mean, if I was him, I would have lost it. But listen, God's got other plans for him. He's going to achieve great things, man. You get me? Because, like, yeah. I mean, there's been disrespect towards African countries, like, before this tournament's even started anyways, man. Like I said, they've almost made it impossible for Africans to travel to America to even support their countries, man. But yeah, man, this is looking like it's going to be one of the worst World Cups in terms of vibes and atmosphere. It doesn't even feel like the World Cup is starting on Thursday, where before, with a month or 2 months before the World Cup, you see the hype.
It is that season again, the World Cup season. World Cup is meant to bring joy, to bring happiness, and to bring the whole world together. If anything, countries are expected to put their issues aside, whether it is political differences, whether it is racism. We expect that they will put all this aside and just get to sit and watch their talented players do what they do best. And by the way, Mexico is playing South Africans today. Which team are you supporting, or which side are you on? Please tell me in the comment section. And even as this happens, I find it really crazy that one Omar Artan has been denied access into the USA, despite the fact that he's holding a valid USA visa, which was granted by the USA Embassy here in Nairobi, Kenya, and he also has a FIFA accreditation. So why are they denying him access to the USA? This denial really prevents him from officiating the 2026 World Cup. And this is a moment that will have been historical for Somalia and for the whole of Africa, by the way, to have their very first Somalian referee officiate the 2026 World Cup. And they are denying him this access on matters that have not even been proven. The USA officials are alleging that Omar has associations with a group of terrorist organization, and this has not been proved. There is no evidence out in the public showing him being associated with these terrorist groups. And by the way, it's a shock to me because before one is given or granted a USA visa, one has to go through a very thorough security check. So many interviews they have to accomplish before this is granted. And this is exactly what Omar went through. This is exactly what he did. He followed the correct channels. He went through the interviews, and the USA Embassy itself granted him the visa. I personally do not think that this has anything to do with security threats, as they put it, but it has everything to do with racism. And it is really sad that this opportunity that has really come forth after one Omar has really worked so hard to get to where he is today, just to be denied this opportunity to officiate the World Cup. I find it really crazy and so very unfair, actually. This is a racist move. And so, I want you to take a look at some videos. And before that, I want to say thank you for joining us today. Thank you for always being here. And if you're joining us for the very first time, we want to welcome you. And we want to say that please do not forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so that when we have a video uploaded, you'll be the first one to know. Let's get into it.
I've watched every single World Cup since it were in black and white, and here's why I think the World Cup in USA this year is going to be the worst ever. First reason, Americans, I can't stand them, and neither can you. Every time I open TikTok, every time I turn on the television, and every time I have the bleeding radio on, I have to listen to an American talking the biggest pile of twaddle I've ever heard in my life. And it's always something like this.
So I'm excited for two main things ahead of the Soccer World Cup 2026. Firstly, I'm excited to see how Cristiano Pulisic gets on. He's by far the best player in world soccer right now. I think he's going to bring it home for Team USA.
And secondly, I'm looking forward to sitting down in the MetLife Stadium next to these Europeans and seeing how they react to being in one of the coliseums of global sport. Something that's so much better than those tiny little stadiums that they have over in England and Germany.
If I have to hear any more of this frigging nonsense, I'm going to get a red hot poke and shove it up my own ass. But beyond the annoying Americans, there's a number of other things that are going to make this the worst World Cup ever. No, it's not the Times. We were used to that in South Korea, getting up at 6 a.m. to watch England. And no, it's not the heat. We've had hotter World Cups than this. It's just the effect of uber-American capitalism on everything. The stadiums are going to be half bastard full because they're charging $2 or $3 a ticket. The corner flags are going to be on rubber plinths, and the goals are going to look like something you'd wheel out on 5-side pitch on AstroTurf at school. And I can frigging guarantee every single water break there's going to be adverts for Gatorade or some other shite like that. And we just don't need it. Football's supposed to be pure joy, particularly a World Cup. I look forward to it so much. But I tell you what, I'm not looking forward to watching Germany thump Curacao 15-0 in an half-empty stadium whilst being advertised for fucking Geico and all these other American brands. I mean, good God, could they not just have given it to a proper football country like Qatar?
The United States just turned away a World Cup referee at the airport, flew him here, looked at him, and shipped him back days before the biggest sporting event on the planet kicks off on our own soil. This is the tournament we spent years begging to host, and we're celebrating by banning the world from it. The referee's name is Omar Artan. He's one of the best in Africa, and he was about to become the first Somali ever to officiate a World Cup match. The man had a valid visa. He got on a plane, flew all the way to Miami, and when he landed, customs took one look at him and turned him around. The official reason, quote, vetting concerns. He'd already been vetted. That's what the visa is. But Somalia is on Trump's travel ban. This is a president who last year called Somali immigrants, quote, garbage. And apparently a guy whose entire job is enforcing the rules to the inch is too dangerous to let near a soccer field. FIFA said they won't fight it because the host country decides who gets in. We're the host country. This is us. Then there's Iran, who qualified fair and square and is about to play the strangest home schedule in history. All three of Iran's group games are in the United States. But the U.S. has been delaying and denying visas to their delegation, so the team can't safely stay in the country they're playing in. Their solution? They're based in Tijuana, Mexico, flying in for games and flying back out, like the World Cup is a port they're not allowed to dock at. We invited the world to our house and told half the guests to wait in the car. And then there's the pins. When the Iranian team landed in Mexico, every player was wearing a small gold pin with a single number on it, 168. That's how many people were killed back in February when a missile hit an elementary school in the town of Manab in southern Iran. Most of them were children. We did that. Everyone knows we did that, even though no one will say it out loud. The UN condemned it. The Pentagon says it's investigating and would never target civilians, but the players didn't wait for an investigation. They walked into the country that bombed their kids and pinned the body count to their chests where we'd have to look at it. Think about what this tournament was supposed to be. The whole pitch for hosting was that the World Cup shows off the host nation. The world comes to your door. Billions of people watch, and you get to show them who you are. Well, we're showing them. We're showing them a country that turns away a referee for his passport and makes a qualified team commute in from another nation just to play. And the rest of the world is watching all of this and quietly deciding whether it's even safe to come. That's the America on display, not the one on the brochure, the one at the airport, deciding who counts as human with the whole planet watching.
This is how the US authorities welcomed the Uzbekistan national team players with sniffing dogs. Sniffing dogs, strict security, just one day ahead of their friendly game preparation for World Cup, just one day with the Netherlands. This is how you welcome your guests. Meanwhile, this is how Mexico welcomed the Spanish team, Spain national team. This is how they welcome them. Look, look, look. This is how it's raining. They're preparing a dancing team and their culture and I love you, Mexico. And for the people who doesn't know, the World Cup is going to be played in the United States, Mexico, and Canada. But most of the games will be played in United States. But this is how I wish it stopped at that. The Somali referee, Omar Artan, the first Somali selected, he was selected by FIFA. Selected with a passport, with a visa. They literally deported him. They sent him back to Istanbul. Can you imagine? Can you imagine the FIFA cannot guarantee the referees, the best referees to enter the United States to not only that, look this is how they welcome the Senegal national team players. This is how. You know what? It's not called soccer anymore. It's called football. Yes, it's called football. Yes. It's like with football. Football, not soccer. Other flowers. Other than snakes is popping up for players while they're in their training camps. But this, sniffing dogs, it's wild. This is wild. Ya Qatar. I wish every World Cup is played in Qatar. I'm a soccer fan, football fan, no soccer anymore. I love World Cup, but this time, I'm not that excited about it.
One thing that really makes me mad in all this situation is that these European countries who are so racist towards the Africans and who are always looking down upon the Africans are the same people who are always running for help in these African countries, and they want this help from the Africans. They always seek help, like peacekeeping. We have seen our policemen, we have seen the African armies being deployed in European countries to just go help them with their wars. They cannot accomplish anything without the Africans. They cannot. They are always seeking medical support from the African countries. So many times in very different situations and instances, we have seen African medical personnel and doctors being deployed to help in very serious situations where there is a virus involved, and we are expected as the Africans to go out there, put our lives to risk, and help these European countries. And what really makes me really mad is that somewhere in Congo, an Ebola strike, American citizens were found there, and they contracted this very lethal and deadliest disease. But the Americans themselves cannot take in their own citizens who have this deadly disease. But they saw it fit that no, we cannot take these citizens, but they can be quarantined somewhere in Africa, in Kenya to be precise. I can actually tell you that the Americans do not care whether if they bring their sick citizens in Kenya and this disease gets to spread in the whole of this country. I cannot tell you that they really give a damn about that. I cannot tell you that they really care of what happens next after they themselves brought these patients here in Kenya. In the name of they are helping us manage our viral diseases. They are helping our health section. No. America is one of the countries that has the best medical facilities, has the best medical personnel. So why do you have to bring your sick patients in a country that is already struggling with taking care of their own citizens just to get rid of malaria, a very simple disease that is killing actually very many people here in Kenya, but you saw it fit that we can be able to manage Ebola? Don't you find that crazy? I really do find it crazy. We have seen European countries come for help or seek help with their soccer teams that are full of Africans, actually. We have seen marathoners who are Africans that have been have contracts with the European countries to just help them run and win medals. We have a country like Turkey. In Turkey, we have somebody like Bridget Koske. We also have Alex Kipkirui running for the Turkians, for the Turkey nations, you know. We also have Belgium, Isaac Kimei from Kenya here, who is doing the 5,000 marathon. He's also doing the cross country for Belgium. These are European countries that have seek help from Africans. We have seen Spain seek help from Africans with their soccer team. And actually, 90% of these European countries in their soccer team have Africans playing for them. And these Africans are really creating a positive and meaningful impact to these teams that I think that they cannot be able to achieve the results that they have achieved all these years without the Africans. But when it comes to a time where an African has really stood out, they have worked themselves up the ladder of their career to become the best referee in Africa. That is where they draw the line and say, no, we do not want this person in our country, because they just come from Somalia, an area where everybody hears of this name and they think everybody from there is a terrorist. I think that is very, very unfair, because we are judging them from where they come from instead of judging them by their conduct, by their achievements. We have seen African countries being treated so differently from the European officials. Actually, the European officials do not actually go through any hurdles when they want to enter the USA. But it's an African. They have to be sat in a room for 11 hours and get interviewed and get checked and do thorough security checks, check their bags as if they're carrying weapons. And we don't see European or the white people being treated like this when they want to enter the USA. And I think it's really, really sad for Omar to miss out in officiating this 2026 World Cup, just because of allegations, actually. Just because we think they do not fit to do this, despite the fact that they've really worked hard to get here. That is really crazy. I think the Donald Trump government is the most racist government that we have ever seen. It's 2026, for God's sake. We do not expect to have people being treated like this. But actually, the racism acts and actions from the Europeans have actually increased since Donald Trump entered power. Because he's always seeing Africans like they do not matter. They do not even deserve to be living. That is how he sees us as Africans. We have had so many Africans really suffer in the hands of the Europeans. We actually saw an African being killed because a white person just knelt on their neck and they did not even feel anything while they were doing that. You know, Lloyd, he was killed, and actually he was killed for nothing. He did not commit any offense. He did not do anything to that white policeman. But just because he was black, then he deserved to go through what he went through. And to date, there is no justice that has been given to their families. And their families, the family of Lloyd will never be the same again. The children lost their father. If there is a wife, she lost her husband because of racism. And I think this is something that should be condemned. This is something that should be looked into. And it's something that should be stopped. Thank you so much for joining in. Thank you so much for being here. Please subscribe, hit the notification bell. Every time we upload a video, you'll be notified. You'll be first to know. Bye for now. God bless you.